All right, guys. So an update at Oregon. Dillon Gabriel, commits to Oregon. Dante Moore is on his visit. Jordan Seaton still being courted by Dan Lanning. So it's important to note, he didn't sign his letter of intent yet to go to Colorado. So Dan Lanning's still after that. You could see some real dominoes falling there with Oregon. Jericho Johnson still projected to go to Oregon. That's going to be a massive need in the middle of that defense. So Elijah Rushing, believe that you have Bland, I want to say. I'm gonna pull up this class. They're pretty much going all high school. The thing about this is last year they portaled in, I believe Holden, Justin Jacobs was a portal. The guy from Fresno, Bennett, the safety was the brother of one of the players who played before. And then Ted Johnson, Bo Nix's adopted brother as well. They portaled a lot of wide receiver last year. Bucky Irving was a transfer. This year, they're literally just going with Dillon Gabriel. And they lost to Jordan Seaton battle. The Nolen thing isn't going perfectly. I think that they're in a real tough spot. I think Ole Miss actually has the upper hand in Nolen so far. If I were just to go by, a couple of crystal balls from maybe it's Oxford, but on 3. So Nolen, I know Nolen maybe doesn't have the most sacks ever, but Nolen's a big piece. And Nolen, I think the upside is there. So again, Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss is being formidable. It is literally only Gabriel and then really only Dante Moore. So they're really only going quarterback. But if you land Dante Moore, then it's all right, you got Cole Martin, you got some of these cornerbacks that are coming up, Florence will be in year 3. So you feel really good about the secondary. Linebacker, you're gonna continue to figure that out. Good linebacker play. And then the D-line, you still got Mateo, and you now have Rushing, and you have guys off the edge that are going to be instant impact, players. It's just with Jericho Johnson, it's going to be an incredible class in terms of edge rushing talent. A couple of wide receivers have also committed that I'm really excited about. Dylan Gresham is somebody that just visited USC, but a real speedster that I think could play almost immediately. But it's interesting that Dan Lanning, either with NIL, they're being very judicious about the money that they have with NIL, and they're really saving it up for high school. They're seventh in high school, but with portaling, it's only been quarterback. It's been incredibly quiet. It hasn't been electric. It hasn't been, small. It hasn't been, Sun Belt wide receivers and all this roster filling. It's Dante Moore, trying to get Dante Moore, and it's the Dillon Gabriel, it's the Dillon Gabriel signing, which probably took a lot of NIL to achieve. But right now, Dante Moore visiting Oregon, again, has a really good relationship with Dan Lanning and Will Stein. If you get your quarterback of the future, I don't want to say, it seems like Oregon now, they're going to see what they have with Gabriel. These wide receivers, you're losing Troy Franklin to the league. You're losing Bucky to the league. Bo Nix. I know that Connerly is going to be, the offensive line could be good. Connolly could even be an NFL player that you have as a junior. So your junior class is fine. You should still compete in the Big Ten, but you're kind of how's the Big Ten going to go a little bit? How's the Big Ten going to go? And then you're going to get a year, because I believe Bo Nix is here. Dillon Gabriel's ceiling is right here. Jordan James, you're losing Bucky. Jordan James is a fine running back. But I feel that a year with Dante Moore, right? So say that you get Dante Moore. You could watch Dante Moore, who has the upside that is even higher than Gabriel and even higher maybe than Bo Nix. Just 6'2", can run, arm strength galore as a 5-star. He gets a year to sit behind Gabriel. You get to feel out what it's like to travel in the Big Ten. Go to these, schools in the Big Ten. Then I think kind of like Ole Miss realizes they have Jackson Dart as a senior. Then next year, you kind of are judicious with your NIL. Then guess what? Bam. Big-time high school class, but you go in on that portal next year. Like you go all out to try to win probably the Natty in probably 2 years. We're just being straight up. Like next year, go out there, win 10 or 11, right? Go out there, have a great season, all right? But the portal is probably going to happen in probably a year or two with Dante Moore. Like quarterback right now, filling in, getting the quarterback of the future is probably all that Oregon can do. And they're looking at seeding. They're involved in high school battles probably right now. Like that's where Lanning and he's focused on. And it's interesting to see, right? I mean, some programs, like even USC is portaling. They've been incredibly quiet, like almost Clemson level quiet in the portal this year. So that's kind of what I'm viewing with Oregon. And let me know what you guys are thinking. I still think it could be a really, really good year with Dillon Gabriel. And clearly, like, they view Gabriel and they're like, all right, we'll have stability at quarterback. But they also might look at the quarterback room, and they've had a year of Novosad and Ty Thompson, and they're like, we need, Gabriel's going to be fine for us. But I think Dante Moore is really a bigger priority than – I think he's a huge priority now in this class. It might not be a luxury. He might be a necessity to Oregon to get that quarterback of the future. So, again, we're going to see with Dan Lanning. Like, Nolen's not out of it yet. Jordan Seaton, not out of it either. Jericho Johnson, you need that defensive tackle. Like, he can be a problem. Like, he has wiggle inside as a defensive tackle. Like, he's very tough to block and very shifty. Jericho Johnson, like very impressive tape. And if he commits to Oregon, like then we'll review the tape fully. But let me know what you guys are thinking about this Oregon transfer portal market. It has been quiet, but you get your quarterback of the future. You see kind of how the roster is. Maybe it's a retool. They're never going to rebuild, but with Dillon Gabriel, yeah, they're going to be going all out, always trying to win a championship. But again, maybe if you have Dante Moore, maybe then you don't have to spend money on quarterback. Bam, you hit all these different positions. So we'll see what happens. But Oregon, transfer portal update. Dante Moore visiting right now.